What's going on YouTube? Mike here, Heart Knives, and in this video we're going to do a quick unboxing of the package that I just got from KME user John, and let's get right into it. It looks like we got a couple knives, and we got a couple stickers, USA made blade, and Hinderer knives. Alright, so let's see what we got. Oh, that's so sick. So this is the Koenig Arius, and this thing has a really nice feel right off the bat. It has a fairly light handle. The blade is what really feels, there's a lot of weight in the blade. It's about 50-50 right where the guard here is on the knife, in the where your pointer finger actually hits. That's where the weight is balanced, but it feels a little bit front heavy at first. I think this back spacer right here gives it a little bit of weight to redistribute, just to have like a more comfortable feel. That grind is just so nice. It's like a satin bead blast, I guess. Yeah, what a nice feel to it. This thing has a really, really nice action. Oh, and I forgot to mention M390 blade steel. I like how they put a pretty sizable sharpening choil in it, or sharpening notch. So you can really climb the blade pretty good before you start having any issues with recurve or anything like that. That action is just, it's addictive, like that snap, and it will fall shut. It feels similar to the action of like a WE knife. Like the knives that are made by WE have this same kind of build up and snap. Actually, I just handled the Giant Mouse Sonoma, I believe it was, that I sharpened. It was a buddy of mine's, and it has a similar like ramp and detent, and the way it fires feels very similar. WE knives and Riot knives they both have like incredibly well dialed actions. Like the fireability on them is really, really good. And this Koenig, feels similar to that, but I'd say a little better. It could just be the detent, the way that it's dialed in. And absolutely no blade play. Alright, let's see what else we got. I'm guessing by the sticker. Ah, he threw me off. He gave me the Hinderer sticker, but it's actually a Strider. So the Strider feels very similar to a Medford. The Medford Praetorian is a bigger version of this feeling. So the Praetorian, it was like almost a little too big for like really comfortable carry, in my opinion. This Strider, I think, would be like perfect. This would be an ideal, moderate carry. It's a larger knife, but the handle's not too long, but the height of the handles is pretty big. you can see how tall it is. So I think in that regard, people who have bigger hands, like John, KME user, has, I'd say, extra large hands. His fingers and palm are really long. I don't have really long fingers, but I do have pretty big palms. So, I'd say I have like on the larger side of hands. This thing feels really nice, and it feels like it has the same sharpness that the Medford did along the spine with the jimping, or like the notches that they put in the grooves, but it doesn't feel as sharp on the rest of it. So like on the bottom, it feels a little bit more chamfered. So the true test will be when I start cutting with it and doubling or tripling cardboard up and really, putting weight behind it. But it has very similar characteristics to the Medford style of knives, where you have the hand ground blade, you have a hollow grind instead of a flat grind, and they kind of put like a stone wash / utilitarian grind. Like the flats here are stone washed, but then the actual hollow grind they leave fairly coarse, but then it seems like they polish it just a little bit. So, but I mean, you can definitely feel the striations, whereas like the Koenig is like next level. There's like no grind lines to it. It's like literally a perfect polish. And I'm not sure if this is hollow ground with like a really, really big wheel. I think it is. It looks hollow ground. It definitely feels hollow ground, but like a really, really faint grind. So let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but it's the same thickness to about here, and then it feels like there's like a little bit of a relief, just like a hollow grind would, where you have a little bit of a belly and then it comes back out. Like the fattest part would be at the top, and the skinniest part is actually a little bit behind the bottom. So the skinniest part would be like, let's say, 1/8 of the way up. So as you sharpen it back, it'll actually be thinnest at one point behind the lowest part of the knife. The thinnest part, let's say, would be 1/4 of an inch behind the edge bevel, and then eventually it thickens back up. But you have a ton of sharpenability with hollow grinds, especially depending on the wheel size. But this thing is like perfect. The action is perfect, the centering's perfect, the blade grind is perfect. I mean, for the money, obviously this thing should be, but it's just a testament to Koenig's quality. And I almost got a Koenig Arius. There was two that John sent me the link to that had posted like a minute before, and I think one was sold and one was still available, and right when I went to go grab it, it sold like last second. So somebody was probably 30 seconds faster than me, but I was at work, and what can you do? These things I think are worth the money. I would get a Koenig before I'd ever get a Grimsmo. The Norseman was really cool, but for this style of knife and the practicality of the knife and the usability of the knife, I would definitely get a Koenig over something like the Norseman, when you're spending this kind of money. I was just talking to John a couple days ago about Strider and if he thought that they were 100% worth it, and he said he did. He said that's why they're so hard to find, that's why they're so rare. I go back and forth with it. Some days I feel like I want one, other days I feel like I could live without it. With the baby coming soon, my priorities obviously have changed a little bit. I'm not buying knives like I used to, but at the same time, I'm appreciating my knives differently, where I know what I'm using all the time, and really I could get away with having 3 to 5 knives for good and just relying on those same 3 to 5 and dumping the rest of the collection. It's fun to have the variety, but it's obviously not necessary. So I've gotten a Microtech. I've gotten, like the top end of like the medium range knives, where like a Chris Reeve and large and Cosi. Once you start getting over the $500 mark, there's such fine, minute details to knives that sometimes they just don't pay off. At first glance, I think the Strider could be worth it, but my appreciation for my knives has changed a lot, and things that I used to look for are much different than things that I look for now. Just in like the past, let's say 6 months, my taste in knives has changed drastically. So John, thank you so much for letting me get a look at these and giving me the opportunity to review these knives. This is going to be an absolute pleasure to review these. I'm really looking forward to it. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Give a shout out to Kami User. Subscribe if you're new. If you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you guys. And if you're not already hitting the bell notification, hit the bell next to the subscribe button to make sure that you get notified when I post new videos. And we should have some pretty cool stuff coming up with these 2 knives. And John actually just sent me a 3rd knife pretty soon. I should be getting that within like the next 2 or 3 days. Yeah, we'll get some testing and play with these. So thanks for coming along for this video, guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.